Welcome to this talk show about mental health awareness and the budding telemental health industry presented by Infinium Global Research. In this video, we will be discussing various aspects like what is mental health, how can we boost it in simple ways, and how can we make use of digitalization to get help. Hello, I'm Ruchi Shah, the host of this talk show, and I'm pleased to introduce you to our guest speakers, Ms. Aditi Patil and Ms. Neeru Athri, who are with us for today's discussion. Ms. Aditi Patil is a certified hypnotherapist, Usui Reiki master, and DMIT analyst and counselor. She is best known for her deep desire and ability to help people transform their lives. She was inspired by past life regression therapy because of the experiences of her life and how her life transformed through hypnotherapy. And that is the reason why she decided to help others as well. Ms. Neeru Athri is a leading counseling psychologist who believes in mental well-being and holistic development of a person. With more than 10 years of experience in this field, she is a part of Manodarpan, an initiative taken by the Ministry of Education, Government of India as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan to promote mental health and well-being of students during the time of COVID-19 pandemic. She is also the council member of Haryana Skill Development Council WICCI, and yes, she is the author of Deciphering Young Minds, a book about emotional issues faced by teenagers. We are truly honored to have both of you here with us in this talk show. So let's commence with this session. What is mental health?
Mental health is the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of any individual.
Mental health refers to emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we feel, how we think, how we act. It also affects how we handle our stress, how we relate to others, our self-image, our self-worth, how we make decisions, how we make choices, and what we think about ourselves, what we think about others, and how we behave. It is all connected. Everything is connected to mental health. So mental health is very important at every stage of our life, whether it is childhood, adolescence, and adulthood.
Okay, so why is creating awareness about mental health so important?
Mental health awareness is very important. Number one, to reduce stigma. Number two, to make people realize that this is very normal. It is okay to talk about mental health. Thirdly, to recognize the signs and symptoms of any medical illnesses, because only then they will be able to seek professional help. Fourthly, to make people realize that they need a good life and they deserve a better life. Once I had conducted sessions in a school with the students about bullying, sexual abuse, and trauma, and to my surprise, so many children, they came up and they revealed what they were going through, which they had never discussed with anyone. You know, we are conditioned by society in such a way that talking about these things will bring shame, rejection, or more guilt. So I think mental health awareness is very, very important.
More than 450 million people are suffering from mental illnesses and depression. According to WHO, by the year 2020, depression will be the second largest disease burden worldwide. And most of the physical diseases and mental illnesses are closely associated. Research has proven that most of the diseases are psychosomatic, that is, originating from your mental illnesses. It is how you feel, how you think, and how you act. So, the vascular diseases and heart diseases are occurring due to the depression. It has been proved. Even mental disorders also lead to weak immunity, drug abuse, unemployment, poverty, and sleeping disorders, eating disorders. Many people hide their mental illness because of fear and shame. They don't want to be labeled as mentally ill or crazy because this label has negative impact on their career, education, marriage, and life goals. Many people believe that mental illness is a sign of inadequacy and failure in life. Many people get that feeling of hopelessness that nothing can help me, I will never get better. Many people are afraid, they are worried about confidentiality of their personal information. Some of the people want to avail these sessions and consulting and counseling, but they don't get proper, appropriate professional support.
And how common are these mental health problems?
Mental health problems are very common. As per a report by NIMHANS, 13.7% of Indian population is diagnosed with mental illnesses, and there remain many which are undiagnosed.
So, if you search on Google the mental health illnesses terminologies, you will correlate those terminologies with your own mental health, and you will understand that you are suffering from one of the mental disorder. That common is the mental health problems or illnesses are. You will understand that you are suffering from imposter syndrome or ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactivity syndrome, or you are suffering from OCD, you are washing hands again and again, you are obsessively compulsively doing something. So this is obsessive compulsive disorder. There are so many terminologies related to mental health. Most of the people are involved in psychic activities, paranormal activities, they are doing some black magic or Vashikaran thing. So those are considered under schizophrenia. So many mental health illness terminologies are there, and these people are suffering. They are having delusions, they are having illusions, and they are hearing. They are able to see ghosts. They are able to see visions. So mental health professionals are needed to take care of these patients suffering from mental illnesses, and these professionals should work with compassion, love and acceptance, because if these people will discriminate among those patients suffering from mental illnesses, those will create stigma around those patients. Those patients will not heal. They will not be able to help those patients get healed completely, come out of their depression, come out of their mental illness. And the percentage of mentally ill people, depressed people will keep on increasing because no one cares. You should be more compassionate, more loving about the healing process.
So, what can we do to deal with our mental health issues?
To manage your mental health, self-care is very important. Emotional self-care, taking time out for those things which makes you happy. Physical health self-care, you can choose anything. Yoga, meditation, walks, exercise, anything. Like I go for long walks, it works for me. Basically, everybody has to prepare their own mental health toolkit which works best for them.
Managing mental health is not pretending to be okay, pretending to be strong, suppressing emotions or running away from problem. And managing mental health is also not keep on complaining and grumbling about the problem and playing victim mode. This is not managing the mental health. But how to manage mental health? So you have to be balanced. Life has dual nature. Everything in this world has dual nature. Day is balanced by night, positivity is balanced by negativity, sorrows are balanced by happiness. So without sorrow, happiness has no value. Without negativity, positivity has no value. So if you have heard, gold has to go through fire. Without fire, gold will not be pure. So if you are going through difficult journey in your life, that means you are going to become a gold. A diamond has to go through cuts and a gold has to go through fire. So you are going to become a gold. You are going to become the best version of yourself if you are going through difficult journey. You have to accept those as challenges, those negativity, those toxic drama of people around you, toxic behaviors of people around you. That means you are supposed to learn emotional intelligence. If people around you are continuously behaving toxic to you, that means you are supposed to learn love, compassion, acceptance and forgiveness. So with love, compassion, acceptance and forgiveness, everything and everyone in the world can be changed. So you are supposed to do that. How to manage your mental health? So there are some positive things going on in your life, and there are some things going on negatively in your life. So there are complaints and there are things which you are grateful for. So you are supposed to write it. Do journaling. What is journaling? You are supposed to take a notebook. You are supposed to write your complaints. What are your complaints? Write it down. And what are you grateful for in your life? Write it down. What are you thankful for? Thankful to God or thankful to universe for giving me this nice dress or nice clothes, healthy body, or nice home, nice parents. Even if you have strict narcissistic parents, still you should be grateful. People do not have parents. Look at the people who do not have parents. Look at the people who don't have what you have. So you will be able to show gratitude towards anything in your life. There are two types of people, introverts and extroverts. Introverts usually pretend to be okay, pretend to be strong, they suppress their emotions. And extroverts are continuously grumbling, complaining, sharing their problem with each and every person of their life. They're continuously grumbling. Even those people have their problems to become center of attention in their life. They do not have any purpose. They don't have anything to talk about in their life. They only have complaints. So they keep on changing counselors, healers, or mentors. They never listen to that counselor because they want to keep on complaining about their life. They never want to change it. They are habitual to this complaining. So there are those type of people, but you should take healer, counselor, and mentors will help you till certain limit. They will not be able to completely change your life, transform your life. You are the healer. You are going to heal yourself. You are going to heal your life. Mentor, healer, or counselor is only going to guide you how to do it. They cannot do it for you. You have to do it yourself. So you cannot blame the counselor, healer, or mentor that my life is not changed and I am still in depression. You have to work on yourself consistently. You have to keep on doing the homework given to you by mentors or counselors or healers. Take 100% responsibility of your life. Look at your own journey in third person. Observe, acknowledge your flaws, your mistakes. Accept and forgive yourself. Don't hold grudges, anger, guilt for self and others. Accept. Forgive. Forgive others, forgive yourself, accept yourself completely. Once you start accepting and forgiving, you will be harmonious because there will not be any war going on inside your mind, because there will not be any dispute, conflict going on in your mind. You are not fighting with yourself that these are my moral values and these are my behaviors. So my moral values does not match my behavior, my actions do not match my moral values, so I am in war, I am in fight with myself inside my mind. I am not accepting myself. These fights go on and you are not harmonious, and so you are not able to concentrate anywhere in your life in present moment. Where you are, you should be in present moment, not indulging in past and not worrying about future. You should be in present moment. If you remain in present moment positively, harmoniously, then your life will be positive, your mental health will be positive, and your life will be positive. So you are supposed to remain in present moment, forgive the people, forgive the situation, circumstances from the past. Don't worry too much about future. Just stay in present moment harmoniously, accept everything. There are two types of mindsets told in REBT, that is Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. There are two types of mindset, flexible mindset and rigid mindset. With rigid mindset, you cannot progress much because there is so much of resistance. When there is a flexible mindset, you are accepting everything, you are not creating any resistance, you are not fighting. So you are becoming like a noble gas. Noble gases do not react with any other element. So they do not react. So they are called as noble gases. If you have noble visions in your life, you should not react. You should not resist. Just be. Just be there. Just accept. Listen, accept, observe.
How effective are these practices like breathing to relax, practicing mindfulness, and meditation?
These practices are very powerful, but again, these are very subjective for each person. अगर मैं यूँ कहूँ कि ये प्रैक्टिसेस एक ब्रह्मास्त्र की तरह है, जब भी कोई क्योटिक सिचुएशन होती है तो हम कुछ भी कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. अगर कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं तो सिर्फ एक चीज़, वो है हमारा ब्रीदिंग पैटर्न. अगेन, अ गुड breathing pattern sends oxygen to brain and blood flow to brain, which helps to reduce stress. Meditation, it helps to calm your mind. And as far as mindfulness is concerned, it helps us to discipline our thoughts. So I must say that these are very, very powerful techniques, but yes, very subjective and must be used in a very effective manner.
We are running so fast. We want to manifest everything so fast. We want to get work done fast. We are worrying, we are overthinking, we are stressed all the time. Due to this stress, worrying and overthinking, stress response results in stress hormones, cortisol and norepinephrine. And these hormones leads to weaker immunity, and these results in physical illnesses. So all diseases are psychosomatic, resulting from mental illnesses. So if we are mentally weak, then we are physically weak, and so we are attracting diseases in our life. And when actually we start breathing slow, we start meditating, we start practicing mindfulness, our relaxation response, parasympathetic relaxation response, is activated through vagus nerve. And when that response is activated, you actually start feeling nice, everything starts happening in your favor, and everything is synchronized in your life. When you are stressed, nothing is synchronized, nothing happens in your favor. Research indicates that our brain, our heart, and earth are vibrating at same frequency. All the biological systems are working at frequency of 6 to 9 hertz. And if we are vibing at that frequency, everything will start happening in our favor. Everything will synchronize. It will be in the flow of nature. Go with the flow of nature. And once you start going with the flow of nature, once you start practicing mindfulness, meditation, and breathing, your frequency matches the frequency of earth. Solfeggio frequencies, binaural beats can be used to match these frequencies. Or you can just meditate, you can practice mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Just be in the present moment. Don't think about the past, don't think about the future. Just be there in the present moment. Just observe, don't react. Accept, forgive, forget. Just observe your own life in third person and observe yourself, introspect yourself. That is mindfulness. So these practices are really effective.
How can we implement mental health awareness practices in the workplace and schools for students?
To implement mental health practices in workplace, we can just make minor changes. Number one, we can have one mental health day in every 15 days where employees can do whatever they wish to do, the way they want to work, and maybe one holiday in a month as a mental health break, or maybe weekly sessions by some experts on mental health issues where they can talk about their stresses and other things. To implement mental health awareness in schools, we can have more counselors in the schools, and interactive sessions can be organized maybe weekly for the teenagers, and students can be engaged in community services. And maybe मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि स्पोर्ट्स एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो बच्चे के मेंटल हेल्थ को बहुत मैनेज करके रखती है. सो स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत बच्चों को एंगेज किया जा सकता है. मॉर्निंग असेंबली में योगा, मेडिटेशन, इस तरह के सेशंस बच्चों के लिए ऑर्गेनाइज किए जा सकते हैं. और बच्चों को, जैसे अभी ये चल रहा है, ये पूरा मेंटल हेल्थ मंथ है, इस तरह में उनको पोस्टर्स हैं या किसी तरह की और क्रिएटिव चीज़ें हैं, उनमें इन्वॉल्व किया जा सकता है.
Mental health care professionals should be appointed in every office, every school, every institute all over the world. It is needed. Mindfulness, meditation, and breathing should be practiced every day in all the institutes, all the schools, all over the world, because it really create amazing results. It gives amazing results, miraculous results. Each one of us is an electromagnetic being. We have electromagnetic field around our body, and we are connected to each other through this matter of air around us, and we are connected to each other. When we meditate together, we create a positive wave, positive vibration in the universe, which lead to progress and growth, nurturing. So if we meditate together, so many people are connected to each other, they create a positive wave, everything can be changed in a positive way, transformed. Life will transform, everyone's life will be transformed, and universe will be transformed. It will be a very positive thing. Even in Wisconsin University, a research has been made on a monk's brain. All the EEG machine is connected to monk's brain, and they have studied that when monk was meditating on over compassion, what changes are made in his brain. So they have observed that his brain was working more efficiently. The brain signals were sent more efficiently in the brain when he was meditating on compassion. So if you want to work more efficiently, or everyone in the world should get benefited, then we should meditate regularly, and we should meditate in a group.
As COVID-19 pandemic is inducing a considerable amount of fear and concern amongst the public, do you both have any tips to protect or strengthen our mental health during these times?
It is vital to protect your mental health during COVID-19. Number one, minimize watching news or statistics on COVID-19 deaths and those kind of information. Secondly, keep yourself hydrated. Thirdly, try to have a positive attitude, because positivity helps to reduce stress. And lastly, try to help people. Try to find the resources for people who are affected by COVID, and try to, give any kind of contribution to the community.
In COVID pandemic, we should take care of our mental health as well as physical health. So as I have already told you that all the diseases are psychosomatic, that is originating from our mental illnesses. Stress response lead to stress hormones, which reduces the immunity. And if we remain positive, we practice mindfulness, we will be positive, our immunity will be improved. It will be positive because of the relaxation response. And if you feel like no one loves me, what I'll do living this life, I'm tired of living this life. If you say so, your cells are listening to you, your cells are eavesdropping to you. There are trillion cells in your body, and they are listening to these thoughts, these negative thoughts you are saying. I'm tired of life, what I will do? Then your immunity is going to get lowered down and your health is going to deteriorate as you say so. So you should do positive self-talk. You should talk positively to yourselves, your body, to yourself. And you should find positive visions. Start writing journal. Start writing your complaints. Start writing what you are grateful for. Keep your mind balanced. Read books. Listen to audiobooks. Watch videos on YouTube, TEDx, Josh Talk, Ink Talk, and what not. The inspirational stories of people you should listen to, and those things, practicing all these things will keep you positive. Practice meditation, mindfulness. If you believe in God, you should practice chanting. So all these things will keep you positive. You should keep yourself positive. Take adequate, proper intake of food, nutrients. You should expose yourself to sunlight regularly, because we are here in strict lockdown. So we are not exposing ourselves to sun. We are sleeping too much. And then, do you know, there is something called as seasonal disorder, seasonal depression. On North Pole, South Pole, there is no sunlight, and due to which these people are suffering from depression. And as a treatment, as an antidepressant, they have been given the light boxes. So light is acting as a antidepressant. So sunlight is acting as an antidepressant. So you should go in sunlight, not only for making those viruses and fungus get rid of your body, but also for as an antidepressant. This sunlight is very positive for your mind, for your body, for everything. So you should expose yourself to sun in these times.
However, the pandemic has halted mental health services in 93% of the countries worldwide. So, how much importance will telehealth hold during this crisis? And how will telehealth change the traditional norms of treating mental health patients?
Earlier, we never thought that mental health services can be provided through virtual way. But now COVID has pushed us to adopt these new practices. But most of the online tele counseling services which are online, they are providing only psychological first aid. I am also involved with two. One is Manodarpan, an initiative by MHRD Ministry, and secondly NCRT counseling services. But yes, if you book your personalized session with the therapist, with a counselor or a psychologist, then I think it's really helpful. And this new practice is a new step in our industry also.
Telehealth is a new terminology for many of the people. Most of the people have not heard this terminology. So even when I heard this terminology, I thought, what is it? And then I realized we are using it from last year, from 2020. Telehealth is the electronic communication which uses software, with the use of software, to consult patients, to consult people. So this is really effective way of communication and consulting people via video conferencing or through audio calls. On audio calls or through video calls, we contact our doctors, mental health professionals, and we share our problems with them, and they resolve our problems on the video call or audio call. Telehealth is effective alternative and satisfying for patients and healthcare professionals, and it is also cost effective and easy.
So, according to you, what is the role of telehealth in reducing the mental health burden from COVID-19?
In present scenario, nobody wants to visit the therapist or psychologist in person. So I think telehealth is helping people in that way. Firstly, it is hassle free, it saves time, and it gives a lot of flexibility to choose your own therapist.
The role of telehealth in reducing mental health burden during COVID times. Most of the people just have need to be heard, to be seen, to be accepted. The feeling of loneliness leads to most of the mental illnesses, including depression, because in childhood we have learned to associate loneliness with the terminologies like sadness, depression, boycott, rejection. And so we start feeling depressed when we are lonely. We start feeling sad when we are lonely. We should learn to associate loneliness with positive activities like self-pampering spa, singing, dancing, or drawing, sketching, painting, doodling, or exercising, writing a journal or writing a diary. So we should use these techniques. During COVID times, obviously patients should avail mental health care professional through telehealth. And again, I would say mental health care professionals should work compassionately with love and acceptance. In the healing process, I would say, in the healing process, the patient's faith on counselor or mentor matters. And the second thing that matters is counselors or mentors' intention to heal that person, to heal the patient. So, if we all come together and work with compassion, love, acceptance, and forgiveness, then we can change the world. We can help people heal and evolve.
Rightly stated by both of you, telemental health services offer a lot of benefits to the users. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic has given people a perspective to help themselves remotely with more convenience than the physical visits to the clinics. Mental health care is beginning to undergo a sea change driven by the widespread availability of digital technology. As the digital health industry grows, a rising number of innovators are venturing into the mental health space, vowing to offer patients more choice, greater flexibility, and most importantly, faster access to high quality care. Infinium Global Research has published a report on the telemental health market to help the business enterprises planning to enter the space to identify the current trends and opportunities into the telemental health market. If you want to get insights into the telemental health industry, do click on the link in the description below. Thank you, Mrs. Neeru and Ms. Aditi, for taking time out for this talk show. We appreciate your views and opinions. For people who want to get in touch with our guest speakers, we have attached the links to their social media in the description below.
I would like to thank all the team members of Infinium Global Research and especially Roshni Mugnani, who made the coordination work. And thank you for inviting me to talk about mental health awareness in your talk show. Thank you very much.
And yes, thank you viewers for watching this video. We hope this video helped broaden your knowledge about mental and telemental health. See you next time with another topic of your interest.